They didn't score until the final 2 minutes in that fourth quarter. So, but I'm anxious to talk to our next guest because I don't see an SEC team in this game. And that's got to be tough for all those SEC fans out there, which makes up a big part of our country. Coach Jim Donnan joins us now, former Georgia head coach. Coach, I mean, you're not even going to watch the game, right? Because there's no SEC team in this championship.
Hey, y'all don't need to get on me about that now. I mean, it's just one of those deals. You got to give all these teams credit, especially Michigan. They did what they had to do in the fourth quarter. That's 2 times in a row in the fourth quarter. Alabama's kind of folded the tent 2 years ago against us, and the other day. So, but it's good for college football to spread it around, and it's going to be an interesting game. I'm looking forward to it.
Hey, Coach, speaking of spreading it, by the way, Happy New Year to you from Rock and myself. I tell you what, Penix Jr. coming out, and I really like what this head coach did as far as attacking Texas right from the get-go. I think that kind of set the tone for this victory over Texas this last week.
Yeah, I mean, I told you a couple weeks ago I thought they could get after Texas secondary, and the last time I saw anybody hit 19 out of 20, and it was when you threw them in the parking lot out there in Kansas.
Versus air, right, Coach? Versus air.
I mean, I'm just telling you right now, that's hard to do. 20 targets to those 3 wide receivers. Just his elusiveness in the pocket, his awareness, and they do a really good job of scheming people. Formation-wise, shifting, motion, and it's a great analysis to look at all these teams trying to run that hurry-up stuff. And I think it's just good that they know what they want to do, and they pick out who they want to get after on defense, and that's what they do. But they're going to get challenged with this Michigan rush and Michigan secondary. They rank second in the nation in pass defense, although we all know nobody throws the ball much in the Big Ten very effectively. So I think that probably those stats are a little skewed. But the overwhelming thing for me in that is the fact that Michigan was able to sack that quarterback Milroe 5 times in the first half. Just really looked like Alabama didn't have a clue what to do, and then they got a little shell shocked and really didn't even try to throw the ball like they normally do downfield. So give credit to Michigan. They did a really good job and didn't even have the signals.
Coach Donnan joining us here on Fox Sports 910 Phoenix. Coach, you talk about these 2 quarterbacks with Penix Jr. and McCarthy for Michigan. McCarthy, he's a winner. I mean, he's had so much success there. And, 22 touchdowns, 5 picks last year, 22 this year, only 4 picks this year. And then Penix, same kind of numbers, real strong numbers. As you look at these 2 guys, which one you think has the edge at the next level? They're all kind of rumored to be a low first round, high second round pick.
Yeah, I think McCarthy certainly showed a lot when the chips were on the table the other day. He came through with those 2 late touchdown passes, one in regulation, right at the end of the first half and then in the second half. But
3.
I mean, when you look at the size of Penix and the way he can deliver the ball with such incredible accuracy, I mean, there's a tremendous need. I know Dan has tutored Brock Purdy, and he knows a lot about those NFL guys, but there's a lot of guys that got a chance in the NFL now. Just there's a real need for quarterbacks. So I think both of them got a good shot.
So, Coach, if let's look at both teams. If there's an Achilles heel for Michigan, what is that? If there's an Achilles heel for the Huskies, what is that?
Yeah, I mean, I think Michigan is just the fact that they don't have real explosive wide receivers. They got good possession guys, but they haven't made a lot of really big-time plays down the field. But they can make runs after the catch. They just don't threaten you down the field quite as much. So I would say that on offense and defensively, they just do such a really good job against the run and the pass. And I think the Achilles heel for and the other part would be that they don't give up many penalties and themselves. But Washington's Achilles is they're one of the most heavily penalized teams in the country, And they got to be careful in a big game, because all of a sudden you start stopping yourself, then you're going to have a real issue there. And they're not really good against the pass either. They've given up a lot of passing yards. But the one thing I really love about Washington is they can win the close games. I mean, 9 or 10 games in a row where it's been, less than double digits, and they've been able to come through.
And speaking of that Washington offense, with Clayton DeBoer in only 2 years, he's got this Huskies team in the national title. What is it you appreciate about him as a head coach for the Huskies?
Yeah, I like the fact that there's a guy that hadn't been on the super highways in his career. He kind of worked his way up through the ranks. Starting out in the lower ranks and moving up as offensive coordinator at Indiana, and then moving on out to the West Coast. And there's a lot of good coaches that nobody has ever heard about. Some of the best coaching is done on these other levels, and he's had a chance to get out there with the resources and the players that Washington has, and it's just a dramatic turnaround from the 2 years ago when they really had a tough year. Washington's always been a program that you feel like it's going to be right there every year, and the fact that he's been able to win those close games against Oregon the last 2 years shows that his players really believe in him. He does a really good coaching job with them.
Coach, last one for me. What was your big takeaway with Georgia just blowing out Florida State?
I was disappointed that Florida State had the opt-outs. I mean, that's going to happen, though. I mean, those kids had to be low, not making the playoffs, being an undefeated team. And, of course, Georgia has its own situation because they were ranked number 1 and got knocked down to 6 with a 3-point loss. So, who knows what the situation is. But the one thing I'll give Kirby Smart a lot of credit for, he got our kids to hang together. We had 18 opt-outs. I mean, we had 18 guys that didn't play, but it wasn't really publicized. But none of them were really big-time players like maybe Florida State had. But we didn't play without Bowers and our right tackle, 2 really good players. But it was definitely a mismatch, and it just goes to show you proper management of your personnel means a lot. And Georgia just had a tremendous day today. 4 of their linemen, 2 on defense and 2 on offense, that could have gone pro, decided to come back, and all of a sudden Georgia went from being a pretender to a really big-time contender.
I've got it, Rock.
Next year with these 4 guys back.
Coach, as always, buddy, appreciate you making some time talking some college football with you. Have yourself a great weekend. Should be a great game on Monday night.
Happy New Year to you, Coach.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you guys, and look forward to talking again in the fall, and you guys do a great job. I'm going with the Huskies. I've had it right for 11 out of the last 12 years, and if I miss this one, then I'll be 11 out of 13. But I'm going with the Huskies.
I'm going to do the same if he's doing that.
I think we're on the same.
Yeah, all right,
Coach.
Same bus, we
Coach.
got you, Coach. That's great. That's Coach Jim Donnan joining us again, formerly of Marshall, Georgia. As you just heard, he's in the National Football Foundation College Football Hall of Fame. Always love catching up with Coach. Coming up, we talked to him just briefly about Georgia and Florida State. If you did not hear Mike Norvell's team speech after